Philadelphia, get ready to be inspired. If you need help finding the light in the darkness, don't touch that dial. Let's navigate life through the lens of hope with Scotty P. Inspirational speaker Scotty P speaks the importance of mental health in society and encourages techniques to overcome the everyday mental health obstacles that hold us back in life. It's not just inspiration, it's Scotty P inspiration.
Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome to the Scotty P Inspiration Show with your host, me, Scott Prendergast, aka Scotty P. Thank you for joining us for Season 3, Episode 2. I'm super excited for you all to be here today as usual, and I can't wait to just dive into this and get this content going so that you can learn to navigate your life through the lens of hope and rediscover the resilience within yourself. So thank you so much everybody for tuning in today. Super excited for you. You know how I like to do things. As always, we want to jump right in, but real quick before that, if you want to watch any of these episodes, you could go on my website on scottypinspo.com, go into the resources tab, see the Scotty P Inspiration Show. You can do it that way, or any major podcast platform, search the Scotty P Inspiration Show. You got it that way, or my YouTube channel, Scotty P Inspiration. You can watch it that way as well. Okay, everybody. So thank you once again for joining us today. Without further ado, we are going to jump right into things today, like we do, because that's what I want this show to be for you. Okay. So my topic for today really is centered around the idea of going through it to get to it, right? A little bit of a kind of joking mantra that we hear a lot, but something that nevertheless is super important, okay? I want to start today with a quote. You know, I like to do that. I don't always do a quote because you can't put me in a box, but sometimes I do like to start with a quote. And for today, I think that's appropriate, all right? The quote that I have for today is as follows. Show me someone who has done something worthwhile, and I'll show you someone who has overcome adversity. And this is from Lou Holtz, who is an old coach for the Notre Dame football team. Okay, I'm going to say that again here. Show me someone who has done something worthwhile, and I'll show you someone who has overcome adversity. Simple quote, football coach quote, but a good quote nevertheless. Because this really is so true, right? Anybody who's done anything of value of any kind in this world, contrary to what people might think, they've had to go through some type of adversity to get there or to do that thing, right? And that's what today's really going to be talking about, is going through it to get to it, and talking about that going through it stage for you and your life and whatever that looks like. And I hope this episode today can help you to take something to help make that going through it stage, as we call it, a little bit more tolerable and help you to look at it differently, so that you're not just saying, I'm going through torture right now and maybe one day I'll get to it, but rather you'll be able to look at it as, okay, there's a lot of good here today too. And each one of these days that I go and collect, so to speak, leading up to what I'm trying to get to, there's going to be some good to be found here too. Okay. So one of the first things that I wrote down as we dive a little bit deeper in here today was the other side of disappointment. Now, I did an episode, I want to say maybe a year ago, maybe two, I'm not sure, about this title, The Other Side of Disappointment. And I feel that this 100% ties into what we're talking about today. Because inevitably, when you're going through something, disappointment is right there hand in hand. Going through struggles and disappointment, they are like peanut butter and jelly. They are there together, and they're doing everything in their power to try to just get you to stop doing whatever it is that you're doing, so that you could just be complacent and stay where you're at and not go for that goal, not go for that goal, not go for whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, right? Disappointment. It's something that we all deal with on pretty much a daily basis. I would go out on a limb to say that's true. Absolutely. But what I talked about in an episode, like I mentioned before, there's another side to disappointment. You know, we're talking about something here that is inevitable. We are going to be disappointed in life. It is going to happen. So if that's the case, then there must be another way to look at disappointment. And really what I talked about in that episode, and I believe I wrote an article about it as well, was saying that with every disappointment lies an opportunity. And we can take that opportunity to become better, to change something up about our lives, to grow in some type of way, or we can allow that disappointment to just completely flatten us where we stand. Right? And the choice is really up to us on how we're going to view that. Right? And so when we're talking about going through it, it's just filled with disappointments. When you're going through it, trying to achieve that dream that you had, it seems like almost every day there's another roadblock, another disappointment, another person canceling on you, another person pulling out of a deal, another person that's saying, no, not today. It just seems like this never-ending dam has broke of disappointment flooding down your face, and you feel like you're almost drowning, right? It's so difficult. It is such a challenge in whatever area of life that it is for you. And so I think for a lot of us, there's one way that we go about it is we view that disappointment as too much. And we say, okay, well, I guess I better just not do this anymore. And I guess this is just a sign that maybe I'm just not meant to do this. And this isn't for me. And all this disappointment is telling me that it's time to pack up shop, get out and just completely do something else. And for some people, that's the case, and that's fine. But when you really have a passion for something, when you really feel like you're meant to do something, you're not going to let that flood of disappointment just let you pack up and go away. So what's the alternative? The alternative is to change how you're viewing it. If I'm sticking with the dam breaking here and this massive flood, I would say that this flood is an opportunity for you to sink or swim, for an opportunity for you to learn how to swim in rapids or whatever it is, if we're sticking with that analogy, right? It's an opportunity for you to show yourself that just because something happened that you didn't expect, that you could still push forward, that you could still move through it, that you could still get somewhere and do something despite everything coming against you. That's how I would look at that situation. And that's how I think a lot of people that are successful, that have overcome stuff, look at situations. You ask any of them, they'll tell you, just like the quote said from the beginning. So my friends, my listeners today, I want you to understand that there is a second side, another side to disappointment. And so when the next time you feel disappointment is, which inevitably is probably going to be pretty soon, I want you to remember that. I want you to stop and say, okay, there's two sides to this. This is disappointing. Yes, I am feeling this. I am acknowledging it, because we got to do that. But there's an opportunity here. And this is a chance for me to grow in some way, get better in some way, change my thinking in some type of way. There is an opportunity here if I'm willing to dig in the dirt deep enough to find it. But it's here. And I hope that's something you listeners can take away from this today. Remember, the other side of disappointment. Okay. Now, sticking with that thread as we're moving on kind of to one of my other points that I wrote down, I really think that as a society, we've got to change how we view things as failure. And I know this is something I work on all the time, and I've gotten better at this, admittedly. I have, which is why I talk about it a lot, but I'm still working on it myself too. So you can trust that when I say this comes from the heart, because I'm still trying to be better with this too. Okay. Right. I still don't have it totally figured out, but it's something that's really made a difference for me with the steps that I've taken. So viewing each failure as a step closer to figuring out your situation. Right? Think about it. If we're going through it to get to it, I imagine us walking down this road, right? Kind of like in The Wizard of Oz. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that real old movie, 1939. What's up, right? At the one point, they're walking through this like really dark forest, and there's all these like creepy creatures in it and stuff, but they're still following the yellow brick road. It runs through it, right? And so for me, I kind of feel like when we're going to try to achieve whatever it is that we want to achieve in life and following our passions and desires, we're walking through a section where it's that real dark forest and we're scared as anything. And we're viewing it as, oh man, this is a failure. I shouldn't be in this dark forest. I should be in the Emerald City. Everything should be great. Why am I in this dark forest, right? But if you've seen The Wizard of Oz, they have to, at least I'm pretty sure this is how it goes. You have to go through that dark forest, right? They go through that dark forest earlier in the show. Then later they end up in the Emerald City where everyone's trying to get to, where it's all great, yada, 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 right? So in the same way, when you reach that dark forest in your life, instead of saying, this is not fair, this is terrible, I can't get past this, I'm struggling, I hate this, flip the script a bit and say, okay, this means I'm one step closer to my destination. This means I'm one step closer to being, to getting, to achieving whatever it is that I'm trying to do. This is all part of the journey. This is it. I'm here, man. Right? And that's not going to make it any easier going through your dark forest, but what it will do is help you to endure it and take something good from it. And I think really that's all that we can do. Right? As I talked about before, we can't always control when difficult times come into our lives and difficult things happen, but we can change how we view it. And so inevitably, when you hit that dark forest, just know you're one step closer. You're one step closer to your Emerald City, so to speak. Right? Another way to kind of look at it is like this. I think that each failure that we have, all these experiences that we collect, let's hold on to these experiences, right? Let's not just dismiss them and throw them out to the side and say, oh, that was a failure, I'm done, throw it in the trash. Let's hold on to these. Let's make a little medallion out of them. Let's put them in our back pocket. right? So that next time we come across another situation that's difficult, we can reach into our back pocket and say, hey, look, I remember when I went through this, and look, I got through this. Here's a reminder of it so I could get through this other situation too. Right? Let's not dismiss these failures and throw them off to the side and say, you're done. You did nothing for me. Let's hold on to them. Right? I'm not saying let's ruminate and focus on it all day, but let's hold on to it and put it in our back pocket. So when we need it, we can rely on it and provide evidence to ourselves to say, I've been here before and I got through it. And guess what? I will do it again. Okay? So each failure is one step closer to figuring your situation out. One step closer to the Emerald City, one step closer to getting to it while going through it. So as we're moving along a little bit here, one of the things that just kind of popped into my head as I'm talking about this topic really is the term rock bottom. Because in my head, I feel like somebody's saying, this is all great, Scott, but when you've been on rock bottom as long as I have, you just feel like you can never get up again and nothing ever energizes you again. And you're just totally done, right? When you've been drug along rock bottom as long as I have, you don't have hope anymore. You can't view it as a positive. You can't hold on to anything because all you see is just the failure and disgrace and hardness that's happened. And you've just reached a point where you're broken and done, right? And I understand that. I can imagine how difficult that feeling must be. Right? So my answer to that would really be this, though. So when you feel like you've been drug across rock bottom for so long, it's time to stop gazing upwards and saying, how come I'm not up there? How come I'm not to that mountain yet? How come I'm not to my Emerald City yet? It's time to stop gazing there. And instead of gazing up from your rock bottom, turn your attention to where you're at and look at that rock bottom. And say, okay, I'm on rock bottom. So what does that mean there's here? There's, some rocks. So I'm going to take these rocks. I'm going to put these rocks together. I'm going to build a ladder. I'm going to start climbing up. Rather than just looking up and saying, how come I'm not over there yet? I'm going to take what's around me. I'm going to put these together and I'm going to start doing something to get off that rock bottom. But I'm going to use what's in the rock bottom to help me do it. Right? So how many of you, when you're at rock bottom, have thought about it like that? Maybe rock bottom isn't as bad as it seems if you're willing to use what's around you. Maybe you have to hit your rock bottom to say, okay, now it's time to use rocks to climb up, to get you to move. Again, another way to look at this. Now, I'm not dismissing anyone's struggle because I've been in my rock bottom before. I know how hard that is, but I can also tell you that it was because I was at the rock bottom that I used the rocks around me to get up and move forward in my life by the grace of God. Okay, so for you, if you're in rock bottom right now, I don't know if you are, but if you are, and if someone's listening to this, stop looking at where you're not at and start seeing where you are and using what's around you to create something that's going to get you one step closer to where you want to be. Rock bottom isn't a final destination. It's a place where you just got to reconfigure some things. It's a place where mentality might have to change, where a new idea may have to be given birth to. It's a perfect place for that. Okay, so I hope that's something that you listeners can really take away from this today. And I hope that if you have been struggling or been at a rock bottom or are right now, you can look at your situation that way too. I got a little exercise for you too that I think can help. Just a simple exercise, but I like to give you a little something every time we have this show so you can take it away, right? I want you to do as followed. I love writing things down, so get your pen and paper out here. I want you to write a few things. First thing I want you to write is, I'm feeling blank. Write in whatever you're feeling. Okay, first thing, I'm feeling, boom, whatever you're feeling. Okay, next thing, you're going to write, I'm feeling this because, boom, insert what it is. Okay, so number one, I'm feeling, insert whatever you're feeling. Number two, I'm feeling this because, boom, insert what you believe it is. Okay, now for your next part, you're going to write as follows. And I want to be, boom. And you're going to write what you want to be or where you want to go, whatever that is, okay? Now, for the last part, you're going to do one more. And you're going to say, so what can I do to move one step towards, boom, whatever it is that your goal or want is. Okay, so let's review this very quickly. First thing, I'm writing down, I'm feeling insert what you're feeling. Next, you're going to say, I'm feeling this because, insert why you're feeling it. After that, you're going to write, and I want, boom, whatever it is that you want or desire. And then after that, you're going to say, so what can I do to move one step towards, boom, whatever that want or desire is. Okay, simple little thing here. This is not rocket science, but let me tell you, this is going to help you to bring some awareness to maybe where some of these issues or feelings are coming from, or it may actually help you to understand what you're actually feeling. Because look, not everybody knows what they're feeling. Sometimes you just are like, I feel blah, and you got to dive in to see what blah really is. Okay, so this little exercise can help you to do that. And I want you to be honest with yourself when you do this. I don't want you to say, I'm feeling sad because I'm sad and I don't want to be sad. So what can I do to move towards not being sad? Like, come on, be real here. Take the time to really do this and you'll be able to see that it's going to help you. It may give you that little spark, that little energy, that little step, that little desire, that little giddy up to use those rocks around you and start getting off rock bottom. Okay? Self-awareness is key, and that's what this little exercise is going to help you to do. Okay, so practice this at home whenever you get a chance. Whatever you want to do, totally up to you. Okay, so as we're moving along here on the episode, we still got some time left. I'm excited here. You know, I love to make this around 20-some minutes because I want you to take as much as you can from it without it wasting your whole day. Because I know everybody's busy here, and this could be your lunch break. You're listening to this, whatever it is. Okay, so I want to touch back again on what I said earlier. I said it briefly, and I said the only way, the title is the only way to go get to it is through it. But why does going through it have to be torture? I think the society really praises that. I mean, we hear it in songs all the time, and it's almost like people wear it around like a badge of honor, saying, oh yeah, I went through the wars and I came out the other side. And hey, I get it, man. Everybody who's done anything has gone through the wars. But maybe we don't always have to view it as a war. Maybe we don't always have to view it as the worst thing in the world. Maybe we could say, hey, this little journey, what I went through, my dark forest, like for the Wizard of Oz example, was something that was instrumental in getting me to where I wanted to be. And so if we flip that script, and when we're in that difficult time, in that dark forest, when we're going through it, instead of saying this is torture, this is torture, this is torture, if we flip what we're saying to ourselves and say, this is training, this is training, this is training, or I'm moving closer, I'm moving closer, I'm moving closer, we're going to be able to view it in a way that's, I'm not going to say happy, but in a way that's encouraging. Instead of viewing it in a way that is just downright torture. You know what I mean? So I think that's something that comes with a lot of positive affirmations and writing them down, written, oral affirmations, both of them. You got to write this stuff down to remind yourself. You got to say this on a daily basis, because if you just think it, your mind's going to just be like, oh yeah, okay, sure. But look at all this evidence of this difficulty, and it's just going to get bullied, right? So in order for your mind to really create that stronghold on believing, yes, this is training, I'm growing, moving forward, we've got to be able to write these affirmations down. We've got to be able to say them out loud. We got to be able to do this stuff so that we truly start to believe it, right? So little task for you when you're at home or office, wherever you're listening to this, I want you to write down some positive affirmations about you going through it, but view it as training, as, one step closer. Whatever you want to view it as, it's going to help it to be less of a torturous situation. Write that down, repeat it, and take 10 minutes every day to just really focus on it and say it and believe it every day. I don't care if it's before you go to bed. I don't care when it's right when you wake up. I don't care it's when you're trying to avoid doing work at the office, so you figure you do anything else. I don't care. Okay. But find some time to speak on these affirmations, to say it, and to really meditate on it, so to speak, and start to believe it. Okay. And then your actions will follow suit. So I think that's something that can be really helpful. Again, very simple. I give simple tips. I'm not looking for, some crazy like, thing. And you're not looking for that either. You're just looking for little things that can help you through your life and change your perspective, right? And that's something that can do it. Okay. So I hope everybody's able to use that, apply that in some type of way today. All right. So as we get towards the end of the episode here today, I really want to wrap up with just an overview of everything we talked about. But I want you to look at it like this. If you're going through it right now, first off, I empathize with you because I know how difficult that is. And if you've been going through it for a while, I know how hard that could feel. And it just seems like you're never going to see that light again. It's just consumed by that dark, right? I understand that. I'm sorry you're going through that, but I want to help you through that. And I also want you to know that I'm telling you, congratulations. And you might say, okay, what is this guy doing? What is he saying? He's out here saying congratulations. He know I'm not going through. What is this guy doing? You know why I say congratulations to those of you that are going through it? Because it means you're doing something worthwhile. Because when you're going through that struggle in your life, that stuff that just feels like it takes everything in you just to get out of bed, when you're going through that, it means that you're moving towards something. It means that you're doing something. It means that there's something on the other side of that that's going to be worth every single ounce of pain, sweat, tears, all of it. So for all of you who are going through it, again, congratulations, because you're moving towards something amazing. And I don't know what that is yet. Maybe you don't know what that is yet, but I can tell you that that's true. So let's change the way we view going through it right now. And tell yourself, all right, look at me, congratulations, I'm one step closer. I'm getting to it. I'm doing it. And that's something I can be proud of. All right, everybody. So thank you so much again for listening today. Tune in next week. We know we got more content for you. Hey, share this with your friends. Send it to somebody who might need it. Whatever you got to do, right? But thanks for being such great listeners. I appreciate it. I hope you can take something positive away from this. I will see you all next week. Until next time, this is Scotty P signing off.